So the new album, is this the most satisfying piece of work that you have produced so far? I'm not going to say is
Well,
it the
I
best, because everybody is always going to say, yeah, this is the best. But for you personally, is it the most satisfying?
I don't know because after each of my albums, I feel very satisfied usually, unless there's something on there that I cringe when I hear it. um, but I do feel it's my strongest album. I feel that but my new project, Jane Getter Premonition, which this is the fourth album with that band. There's On, and then there's the live one on tour, and then Anomalia, and this one. So I do feel that this is the strongest one because this project, this new band, I think that it's becoming more cohesive where I'm going
Yeah.
with this project. So um, so that I can answer, but I don't know about satisfying. Like the very first one, with Chad and Brian and Alex and Corey Glover, that was pretty satisfying, because it was the first time I had another guitar player in my band and these particular players, and then Corey Glover. I'd been such a fan of his from Living Color for so many years. That was like a
He's
dream to
been
have him.
tremendously complimentary in the press and the media over the last few months. I've seen him popping up here and there saying,
Oh yeah,
if you haven't
yeah.
listened to this, then you need to. If you don't know this talent, Jane Getter, then you need to be listening to us. So he's been very active. But I noticed that you've said as well that over the last 10 or 15 years that you've started to love the prog bands. Yes, King Crimson, to name a few, and there is an influence, and you can hear that the influence beginning literally with track number one.
Yeah, the prog rock, my love for prog rock definitely was evolved from, again, first my fusion world, and then wanting to get more into, like, into a rock thing, heavier grooves, like deeper riffs, darker riffs, and stuff like that. And so then the prog world seemed to be where I was heading, and so that's how that came about.
The Compass was my favorite of the tracks, the earlier tracks. I mean, that
Okay.
that was it's like the chains were coming off here. It was like, right, okay, we're going to go for it. This is I'm feeling in rock mode here. This is
Yeah,
we're going to cut loose on this. But the
on this
playing is
one.
amazing.
Thanks. Yeah.
Now, being a more song orientated album, you've talked about. Was
Hmm.
that due to the fact that this was largely put together during the pandemic, basically?
Possibly, but it's just where I was writing, where my head was at that time, and I don't know if that's. I mean, I've written some, since the album, and it seems to sort of still be in that vein. But the other, that could change. I don't know.
Yeah, you
Um,
talked about
I.
you write about what you're feeling, and
Hmm.
you can see that in the song titles and the lyrics. Division
Hmm.
world, end the blame, another way, waiting for the light. There's clearly a theme in there, but you also say you write about what inspires you. So what was inspiring you here?
Well, the political ones are, the name of the album, Division World. It's all the crap that's going on in the world today,
Yeah, yeah.
all the divisiveness, and all the sort of the evil stuff that's going on, and the power plays and the selfishness, and it really bothers me, and it sort of it upsets me. And when I write, it's writing for me is a way to express my feelings and my thoughts. And so a lot of the lyrics in a lot of these songs are about that, like, and the blame, stop blaming everybody, you know what I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, I
stuff
get
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah, I guess that would be a way to answer that question.
You also spent 9 weeks, didn't you, teaching jazz over in India, where you learned to appreciate a certain style of Indian music. That's very Led Zeppelin, by the way, isn't it? It's the sort of thing that Jimmy Page and Robert Plant used to do. Just wake up one day in Morocco. What did you bring back from that experience? And did any of that experience manage to find its way into this record?
Oh yeah. Well, okay. There's a couple of different ways it affected me and has stayed with me. Uh, First of all, I'm not the music, but just in terms of life and the abundance that we have here in Western cultures and Western countries compared to some of these other places. It's just amazing the amount of waste that we make, and the people in India. There's certain areas, certain populations. They have so little, but they are so generous. They will give it to you whatever they have, and I found that really amazing. Musically, it definitely opened up my ear to some different scales and tonalities and stuff. And I do this thing where I create my own scales that I use for my soloing and improvising. And I created a scale out of a raga that one of the Indian students showed me, and it's called my Chennai scale because I was living outside of Chennai, and that scale is used a lot in my solos in on the album.